I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Komando, and welcome to Tech News This Week. It's our podcast that gives you the top stories, the scams, the security alerts, and the crazy happenings in the tech world. We'll get started in just a moment, but first, we'd like to thank our partners who help make these podcasts possible. Hey, coming up in Tech News this week, there's yet another major data breach that you need to know about. And this one's really bad. Millions and millions of people's records were exposed, and guess what? Probably for sale on the dark web.
I'm Mike James. We're also going to tell you about a hidden treasure that you might already have in your house.
Plus, we all know about binge watching on Netflix. Okay, you're not going to believe what one woman's obsession with Netflix drove her to do.
Coming up, you won't believe a new smell-o-vision type technology that's on the way.
And keeping Christmas gifts a secret is harder than ever because so much shopping's done online.
We start with another massive data breach. Researchers from Proof recently found a huge cache of data sitting online and unprotected. And it's bad. Over 114 million records of U.S. citizens and companies had their information exposed. Nearly 83 million people are part of the breach. Some of the exposed data includes names, employers, phone numbers, IP addresses, email addresses, and more. Now, this type of information can be used by crooks to commit identity fraud. It can also be used to spear phishing attacks and scam phone calls to try and trick people into giving up more critical information like passwords and credit card numbers. Now, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but the exposed database is thought to belong to a data management company called Data and Leads. The only good news is the database has been taken offline and is no longer available, but that doesn't mean it wasn't already accessed by criminals before it was taken down. Now, to be safe, you should keep an eye on your bank account, like we always tell you. Watch your bank statements and credit card reports and watch for anything suspicious. If you do find something, report it immediately. Also be aware of phishing emails. Scammers are going to send emails pretending to deal with this breach, looking to trick people into clicking on malicious links that will lead to more problems. Just be careful and let your family and friends know what's going on so they can stay protected too.
Okay, with this story, I want you to listen up, and then I want you to go looking all throughout your house. Because the next big thing just might be in a box or on a random shelf in your house or in the garage. You just need to know what to look for. How about all those charming ornaments that you've been collecting for years and years? Okay, I want you to look for Precious Moments figurines, to be specific. You just won't believe how much money some of them are getting on eBay lately. A number of these small porcelain statues are going for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Okay, you might remember Precious Moments. They started selling these tiny statues in the late 70s, and they went for about, $15 each. But now, a statue from the first release set is valued at over $2,000. The piece is called God Loveth a Cheerful Giver, and it's a statue of a little girl giving away free puppies. But that's not the only one selling for phenomenal prices. There's a whole bunch more of them. We actually put together a list for you that you can see over at Komando.com. You want to search for the article, Check Your Home, Vintage Figurines are selling for up to $2,000 on eBay. Okay, if you don't remember all that, just type in Vintage Figurines and the article will pop up. Once you do, you'll see a list of the top-selling figurines that you can scour your house for. Who knows? Maybe you have a nice little treasure collecting dust that you can turn into cash.
Well, like most people, you probably love your Netflix. Who doesn't love kicking back and binge watching their favorite show? Well, one Minnesota woman took this to a whole new level and maybe a little bit too far. So get this, she ended up crashing her car because she was watching Netflix on her iPad while driving. Yeah, it really happened. The Minnesota State Patrol received a bunch of phone calls telling them a crazy driver was crossing over lanes and driving onto the shoulder of the road and in and out of patches of grass until, of course, she did crash the car. When police showed up, the woman admitted that she had been watching Netflix on the iPad sitting in the passenger seat, which caused the erratic driving. State Patrol then sent out a friendly warning on Twitter reminding everyone to put away all distractions while driving. Your life could depend on it.
All right, just ahead, will you someday be smelling those things that you're actually watching on TV? I know, we've heard about smell-o-vision for years, but they say this technology is actually on the way. But right now, let me tell you about this really cool electric toothbrush from our partners at Quip. We've had parents and teachers and dentists, just drilling on us, no pun intended, how to brush our teeth our entire lives, and each person gives us a different technique. But one thing that they can all agree on is that, well, you have to brush your teeth every day, and you have to do it for a full 2 minutes. So let me tell you about Quip. Quip is electric. It's small, it's light, it's sleek. There's a built-in 2-minute timer that pulses every 30 seconds to remind you to switch sides. With Quip, new brush heads are automatically delivered, just like the dentists recommend, every 3 months for just $5. This is a deal you can't beat. Try Quip, and you'll see why it's backed by more than 20,000 dental professionals. Quip starts at just $25. That's it. Visit getquip.com/tech right now, and you're going to get a deal. Get your first refill pack for free with any Quip electric toothbrush. That's right. Your first refill pack is free at getquip.com/tech. You're going to love it. Just try it. Head over to getquip.com/tech right now.
Have you ever watched a cooking show on TV? Many times the dishes look so tasty, it makes your mouth water and you get a little bit hungry and you're thinking, well, maybe I should head out the door for a moment. Well, it would be even better if there was something like smell-o-vision technology. We've talked about smell-o-vision technology, or many have talked about smell-o-vision technology for years. Well, it could actually become a reality soon. Researchers in Malaysia have developed new electronic technology that would let smells be sent digitally. Imagine the possibilities. The invention makes it possible to convey odors, sights, and sounds electronically, so online conversations could feel like you're actually in the room with whoever you're speaking with. Whether that's good or bad we'll leave that up to you. Now think of the long-distance family dinners that you could have when this becomes a reality. If your sister lives across the country, you could set up a chat where you both cook dinner at the same time, and you would both be able to smell the other's cooking. It's kind of cool. One of the scientists behind the project said it's part of a whole integrated virtual reality or augmented reality type deal. The tech is still being developed and should become a reality someday, and you could see it potentially roll out at movie theaters to give you an even more immersive experience there.
Clever scammers are out in full force, ready to steal your money and identity, and they're after you like never before. Life used to be so good when you could trust Google Maps. Not anymore. Scammers are changing Google Maps so that when unsuspecting bank customers call what they think is a financial institution, the scammers extract their private banking details and then empty their accounts. Another new trick is Amazon.com fake emails, pop-up ads, and free gift card offers. Here, scammers want your personal data that lets them access your account and even steal your identity. And speaking of Amazon, watch out for phishing emails that supposedly confirm an order or look like an official shipping notification. Keep your guard up. One person can send a phishing email, but it takes two to tangle. Get it?
Okay, so this is not good. If you've ever used a Sennheiser headset or speakerphone device with your computer, the app that goes with it has left your gadget open to an attack. The app is called Head Setup and can be used for both Windows and Mac machines. A flaw was recently found in the app that would allow hackers to impersonate any secure website and complete what's known as a man-in-the-middle attack. That's when a scammer secretly relays and then possibly alters communication between two parties. Sennheiser says it's updated the app to fix the problem, but you need to take action immediately if you have used that app. The easiest way to fix it is to simply erase it, delete it, and then download the latest version of the headset app. That should delete the certifications from the old version that are causing the problems. If you have any questions, check Sennheiser's website for further instructions. Hey, have you heard about the security flaw that's been plaguing the U.S. Postal Service for over a year? Researchers found a hole in the system last year that would help scammers rip off your important mail. Good news from the Postal Service after a weekend of bad news. It came out that the Postal Service exposed the data of more than 60 million users because of a security hole. Researchers found that hole, get this, a year ago and told the post office, but nothing was done about it. Well, finally that hole was eventually plugged. So how did the post office end up springing a leak in the first place? Well, the service is called Informed Delivery, and it lets you view your mail before it's delivered to your home. Great idea. You can see if there are any delays, or you can be there when the deliveries happen. Problem was that crooks could go into the service and pose as other users. They then could misuse the service to intercept mail, important documents, and checks, and that's not something you want the post office helping crooks do. Yeah. It's amazing it took them a year to fix the dumb thing. The leak, though, has been plugged, but we haven't heard how many people might have lost important mail this way. Also, this might be just the beginning for the problems with the Informed Delivery program. We'll let you know.
More tech news from Komando.com's coming up. And in a moment, we're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. Yeah, it hasn't been in the news lately in a good way, but it might be making a comeback. But right now, a quick word from our amazing partners who help make this podcast possible.
Have you been following the roller coaster ride that Bitcoin's been on lately? The cryptocurrency peaked in value last year, around $20,000, but has been tanking these days. Well, it could make a big comeback. Here's one state that's putting money on it, or at least it's accepting money from cryptocurrency. Ohio has just become the first state in the U.S. to accept Bitcoin for taxes. For now, it's just for businesses, but the state will accept anything from motor vehicle fuel taxes, sales taxes, withholding tax, and 20 others at its website, ohiocrypto.com. The Ohio State Treasurer is behind this move, saying he wants the state to become a cryptocurrency trailblazer. There are plans to expand the service to individuals in the future. Although the general public and some businesses are getting their toes wet in cryptocurrency, it still has a reputation for being unstable. Also, since cryptocurrency is untraceable, it's being used to purchase things like weapons, drugs, and child pornography on the dark web. So I'm sure a lot of state governments will be watching to see if this works for Ohio. I'm guessing in the long run, it probably will not.
Last year, GoFundMe health-related campaigns raised almost $1 billion. And hospitals know this. Hedda Martin has congestive heart failure. The Heart Transplant Committee at the Spectrum Health Richard DeVos Heart and Lung Transplant Center of Grand Rapids told Hedda, and I quote, she needed a more secure finance plan for immunosuppressive medical coverage. They suggest she raised $10,000 using an online fundraiser. Well, the internet is totally up in arms over this, mostly at the nerve of the transplant center to tell her such a thing, and during the holidays, no less. I don't get it. The transplant center is a for-profit center. As long as they're in business, they help more people. Or think of it this way. Would you be upset at Best Buy if they wouldn't give you a new TV without you paying for it?
Well, it seems like Microsoft just can't get things right when it comes to operating system updates these days. The Windows 10 update in October was a disaster, so much so that they had to pull it back until things were fixed. And after they did finally re-release it, there were all kinds of problems again. Well, guess what? It's back. Now, you'll recall that the monthly update in October was a disaster. People reported losing data and parts of their computers weren't working anymore. It got so bad, Microsoft actually pulled the update back and told people not to use it until the problems were fixed. Well then, just when Microsoft thought it was fixed, some other bugs were found. Finally, the update was rolled out recently. Well, more problems have been found. After all that testing and rewriting, it's been reported that after the new update, iCloud won't sync, machines with some graphics drivers are losing their sound, some default apps are not working, and the Windows Media Player isn't working. Also, Outlook was crashing for some people, but yet another patch released last week is supposed to have fixed those problems. The upshot here is that Microsoft is still having troubles with the worst ever update. The advice here is not to install the patches if you can help it, at least until you hear the all clear from us. Now, if you own Windows 10 Enterprise Edition, you can stop patches for now by changing the settings in Windows Update Server. Windows 10 Home users are stuck with patches automatically downloaded to your computer, but you can delay them with a trick we'll talk about on our site. You can look that up at Komando.com, Komando.com, and then search for Postpone Windows Updates.
All right, tinsel and trees, they're great, but a lot of Christmas is about the surprise. I remember one year I gave Barry a great gift. So let me tell you, for the first gift, what I did is I bought him pajamas and slippers, even a sleeping hat. And then I went online and I found a place in Tucson, Arizona that was a week sleeping clinic. Because, well, let's face it, the guy was snoring. He wasn't getting a lot of rest. So I put all this in a box and I gave it to him on Christmas morning. And he opened up the pajamas and the sleeping hat and the slippers. And then he got to the gift certificate about the sleeping clinic. And he looked at me like he didn't really want to hurt my feelings because it looked like I actually put a lot of effort into this. But I could totally tell on his face that he was not overly excited about this gift. So I looked down at him. I said, "What's the matter, honey?" And he's like, "Well, I can see that this is really thoughtful, but..." I said, "But you don't want it, do you?" And he said, "No, I don't really want to go spend a week in Tucson, Arizona at a sleep clinic." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, on second thought, open this box." Well, in that box, I had a winter coat and a scarf, and I had rubber boots. And he's looking at all this saying, "Well, I don't understand." And each time he's opened a box, "Oh, this is a nice jacket. This is a nice scarf. Oh, rubber boots. I've never had a pair of rubber boots before. And brand new leather gloves. Yeah, in Phoenix. Those are really handy, I guess." And then I handed him another box. I said, "Here, open this box next." He opens the box. He looks at it. His eyes get big as saucers. And he's like, What is this?" I said, "Well, keep looking." And he said, "It looks like a travel itinerary for Ireland." I said, "Yes, we're going to Dublin, Ireland." And he said, "When are we going to Dublin?" I said, "Well, it's 10 o'clock in the morning now. We need to be at the airport at 4 p.m. He says, "Today?" I said, "Yes, today." And we got on the plane, and the next morning he looks at me as he's getting off the plane in Dublin, Ireland, and says, "Holy crap, I'm in Dublin." I said, "Yes, isn't this fantastic? We're all in Dublin." And Ian looked at him and said, "Yeah, we're in Dublin. Isn't this fantastic?" Okay, it's the surprise. But keeping gifts a secret is harder than ever because so much shopping is done online. So if you're over at Amazon.com, here are a couple of shopping tricks that you need to know. First of all, you want to set up your account to keep gifts a surprise. You can share your account with up to 4 teens and 4 kids. So this way, they have their very own accounts. They won't have access to everything you're doing on Amazon. Plus, when the teens have their own login, you'll either receive a text to approve their purchases, or better yet, you can put a spending limit on their accounts. Okay, next up, be sure to archive your orders. This way, if some little stinker or big stinker wants to see what you've purchased, it's way more difficult. It's a little tedious to do this, but it's worth the smiles and excitement on Christmas. And finally, your browser's history is a dead giveaway, especially when targeted ads announce everything that you've looked at. It's super easy to clear your browsing history on Amazon, although it could take a couple of minutes, especially if you've ordered a lot of things. Now, another thing that I like to do is to surprise Ian, although he's, older now, so he's kind of expecting it. But it all started with when I burnt some muffins, and they were stinking up the whole house like crazy on a Christmas Eve. So I actually walked them upstairs and I put them on the patio on the roof because I figured that's the one place that we were having a party that nobody could smell them. So the next day, Christmas Day, I went up there to look at the muffins. And the muffins looked like something, well, they didn't really look like muffins anymore. So I decided to put one of Ian's video games up by the muffins. And this is one of the video games that he totally wanted from Santa. As we get done unwrapping all the presents, Ian's looking like, well, where's the video game that I asked from Santa? And I said, oh, wow, it's not like Santa to not give you everything. I mean, you are a good guy. Maybe we ought to check the roof. So Ian goes flying up the stairs to the roof patio, and he looks and he goes, Mom, the reindeer took a dump. And then in the middle of all of the reindeer droppings was the video game. And we can learn a lot from Santa. Encourage people to believe in you. Know who's naughty and who's nice. And finally, bright red can make anyone look good. I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Komando, and now you're up to date. And I'm sure you want to learn more. So listen to my other podcasts or let them come to you in the free Komando.com app, which you can get at iTunes and Google Play. Just search for Komando on your favorite podcast player. And join me this weekend for my national radio show. I answer your questions about everything digital, and I'm sure you have at least a few. For the station nearest you, head over to komando.com/radio. That's KOMANDO.com/radio.